What's up, guys? It's John at National Sports Entertainment, and I wanted to go into a few things. One thing I wanted to go into is just recap how we did today. Nothing, just like normal, a regular day. We finished 8-6, and we finished 7-4 in college. Like I said, college basketball, in my opinion, has by far the best metrics. And I just wrote this for, I always like to leave just different perspectives on why this system works. And as you can see, we're up 72 units in total, and this is updated every day live. So we were up 64 after yesterday finished. I think we were 58 the night before, and there was 10. And just every day we've been doing this since, honestly, as long as I can remember. I opened it up. We were shut down, and on the 27th we relaunched. But you can see it's been a long time we've been doing this. So anyway, my point is, the reason I bring it up is we had 3 games that we did leg 2s on today. We wound up making Tech a leg 2. So some people might not have got that one. That's fine. It's a good thing if you didn't, for you. But my point is, when we're up 72 units, I've had a lot of people, and I'm going to go into the playoffs and some stuff too, because I figured it's a really good time to cover a couple things, because there's not a lot of an influx of sports going on until probably, Thursday happens and they'll have the Saturday games. But a bunch of people have been asking me, so I figured, since my last channel was completely wiped and I had gone over this like 10 times, it's only right I go over my system for anyone that is new or just still doesn't understand it. So, a lot of people might think, oh, it just looks like a Martingale. Well, no. If it was, we would have busted a month or 2 in. We started this on September 24th, and then we got shut down on December 24th. But it's a matter of using good metrics and understanding that we can split, and we can even go 1 of 3 in many cases and still profit. So, and as you can see, there's really been no occasions where we've split or gone 1 of 3. Our record's around 60%. Picking college basketball, and I mean spreads, not easy money lines. College basketball, we're around 70 to 75%. It's been absolutely bonkers, considering I can't name a guy on the teams. But basically, what we did was we played a good trend metric, Toledo here, ball under. We did miss it as a leg 2. And then all the W's are obviously ones we picked up. We got Mississippi State. As I said, we ran Tech as a leg 2, didn't hit. Got Western Michigan. We did run Louisville. Like I said, I liked them as a leg 2, and they came through. So the Notre Dame loss, even though we split that, we picked up a unit. So you can see how the system works. Minnesota, Fresno over, and we got the cover. And we went 1 for 3 in NBA. So like I said, 8-6 total. 2 we have moving on to a leg 3. And again, if we were to lose a leg 3, say Toledo, and I already have a game, by the way, a college game ready for that one. Say that leg 3 loses tomorrow, that's a 7-unit loss. We would be at 65 net in just about a week. So again, that's why I always explain to people, this is about the long-term game. It's very easy to want to immediately chase something, or one day you lose 10 units and oh, we had a really red day. No, that's not how I look at it. Now, it is pretty crazy because we haven't had many even individually losing days, but we have. But my point is, I never look at it that way. I don't look at any individual games. I don't look at a leg 3 as more important than a leg 1. That being said, of course, I'm going to pick the better metrics on a leg 3. So a leg, I know people use it for parlays. For me, it's a level. It's just an increase in units. And the distinction is, I don't perpetually double down. So I understand I can lose a 3-leg sequence and still be very much alive to even go in green for the day. And even if I don't within 2 days, by the way, we have lost 4-leg sequences before, if you rode with this channel long enough, and within a day, maybe 2, got it back. So that's the reason I am very rigid with the system. I've received Discord type deals, messages on here from people saying, I didn't, really get it at first, but now I understand why you approach the system the way you do. And I'm starting to do the same thing. I didn't realize how important it was to, just be disciplined, and how money management's more effective than the picks themselves, which I'd say it's about half true. It is. Money management's almost as important as the picks themselves. I can say if you lack one skill, if you lack the money management, you're just never going to win gambling. Just being honest. It's like poker. So while having the skill does help, and knowing who's going to win does help, as we've done a great job, I'd rather us be 10% lower on our hit rate, but use this system than be 10% higher and not. Just because even at 60%, you're lucky to beat Vegas with the juice, straight up. So there's a myriad of reasons that I've chosen this particular system, which if you're new, again, there's a lot of stuff I went over in my channel before it got wiped. It's not called the rig system on accident. Rig stands for random internet guy. And there is a person on a sports forum for like 6 years that I followed this individual because I thought it was real back then. And he did this whole backdated baseball with a spreadsheet, and he went into how for years in live time this guy would post his plays, and every single season he finished 5 figures in the green. Like, there was no disputing it. He basically would pick teams not getting swept at home. In this case, we're going just with college metrics and metrics in general, and we're going with narratives because we know it's rigged. We have that extra buffer where not only do we know it's rigged, not only do we have to only hit about a 30 to 40% hit rate, but to boot, we have metrics like these college metrics that never fail. So there's a few plays for tomorrow, not a ton. So I thought it'd be a good time to just kind of go into the system. If anyone had any more questions on it, I will be glad to explain them. There's nothing I appreciate more than people asking me about the system, asking me about different units and different, just perspectives on how to bet certain games. Also, what I really like is there's people that will tell me, for example, I understand boxing. He's always showing support. And he shot me a message and essentially said, yeah, in live time, I noticed that since the Thunder had squashed the Celtics, I went ahead and played the Bucks to win in live time because I didn't think, using your logic, I didn't think the Bucks and Celtics would both lose on the same night. And that's exactly what I mean when I've been telling you guys for... I know a lot of people are new, but since I started the channel, I have a lot of contingency games. So if not every time, but if a bunch of favorites win or cover the spread, then yes, it's going to increase my likelihood of making the next play a leg two, to cover the spread. So say the favorites are 5-0, I might be a little more likely to go with the underdog for a leg two to so that it's not 6-0. Just because they like to balance those things out. So that's cool, understand boxing, and a lot of other people, Heat does it too. A lot of people that, come forward and say, hey, I figured you would have gone with this team, so I lied to them and I won. Whatever the case is, that's the goal. Where people can do this, of course I want you guys to watch my videos, but I want it where you don't have to. I want it where someone can say, I didn't have time to watch a video, but I know for a fact this would be the play. And it's awesome getting a message from people saying that, hey, I played this team because it was fishy to me, and I thought you would have said the same. And 9 times out of 10, I agree with them. And it's very humbling when people are, starting to see 100%, production from now it's their logic. It's not my logic. They're using their own logic. They're using a variation of my idea, which is what I'm doing with the rig system. So I love it. I love seeing people that are saying, hey, I upgraded this to leg 2 because of this, or they'll suggest to me, hey, should we make this a leg 3 because of this? And it's just awesome. So that being said, since these were also ripped down a myriad of times, I'm going to go into who I believe is going to win here in the playoffs. And I'm not going to do a crazy deep dive. I'm just going to kind of explain. By the way, I can tell you my both of my preseason picks are in here. You guys probably know who they are if you've been following for even a decent while. But both my preseason picks to win the Super Bowl are in here. So on the NFC side, I am very, very confident in my pick. Now, these seeds might not fall exactly how they look, but I think they fall pretty close to that. So that being said, the NFC side, I know a lot of people think Green Bay is going to make a run, but I think the fact is, I don't think they're going to knock out, and again, we might have different brackets. I don't think they're going to knock out two young quarterbacks, and being Dak and Purdy, or Dak and Jimmy won't quite be back yet. But my point is, I don't think it's going to be the old guys, Cousins, Rodgers, and Brady. I think that'd be very unappealing. Sure, you still have Hurts and guys that'll be in there, but to me, this just makes sense. But a lot of people think Green Bay will make a run, which is fine. I like San Francisco, and if you know, the reason I like them. Here, there's no way the Dolphins win. This is just, this is the reason I think the Chiefs get the second seed. If you guys remember a while back, they had this whole thing about Mahomes saying that Hill was expendable and they could just pop any fast guy into the system. And at the same time, we had Hill saying Mahomes was overrated and Tua was a much better passer. I think they're 100% setting up this matchup, and it would just make sense to me that that's what happens. And with what might be it depends on what happens with the Bengals-Bills game, but if it winds up being like chalked up to a forfeit, a draw, then really whoever wins in the final week gets that first seed. So the Bills probably will get that. For this one, I'm not going to lie, my preseason pick was Lamar to represent the AFC. That being said, I do think the way they had him, his quote injury, because again, when injuries are not real, I like to point them out. In his case, it was not, I don't think, at least. And I have a feeling, I don't know why, I had a feeling, like I said, at the beginning of the season, Ravens were going to win the Super Bowl. Then at the same time, I'm also wondering, well, they've been somewhat quiet about Joe, and of course, they're undoubtedly probably going to want some kind of rematch in the playoffs. So I did reassess my Lamar pick, even though they're still getting in the playoffs. I'm not one to just double down and perpetually say like, oh yeah, they're in, they're going to make it, or I knew they were going to do great, whatever the case may be. Because honestly, I thought they'd be presented stronger. And I'll tell you why I had them winning the Super Bowl. Before the season, Tony Siragusa, it happens to go along exactly with what's going on today. But Tony Siragusa, he had the heart attack. Jalen Ferguson had the quote overdose. And I thought it was some kind of sacrifice. I thought it might have been related to the same issue DeMar has gone through. But I thought it was it was interesting because it was like 3 Ravens at the same time. I did an entire video on Tony Siragusa. All these hundreds and hundreds of videos I did, they weren't just bet videos. I went into so much, and they yanked it all. But my point is, I thought it was because of some kind of sacrifice, and maybe it was. Maybe it was deeper than just the Super Bowl. But I think they definitely have Joe B get out of the first round. And again, we're going to go into Week 18. This is just who I believe gets in, so I figured it's easy to do a playoff video. Well, even now, to be honest. I wish I could have. My stuff didn't get yanked, but it's easy to do a playoff video once everything's locked in. But I wanted to kind of predict who I think will get which seed. So here, I just think the obvious happens, okay, considering what we just saw. Normally, I would have had the Chiefs, Bills, something like that. Maybe some kind of like, could Trevor do it? But it's going to be Mahomes. But I'm going to go with this. I think this makes sense, and I think people really would love to see this now. Now, here's the question. Is it going to be the 8-3 Tom symbolism like everybody's saying, because his birthday is 8-3 and he'll be 8-3 in the Super Bowl? Well, no, it could. I'm telling you what I believe. I believe Tom and his backup might not be back yet. Tom's backup, Jimmy G. he might not be back in the divisional week. But since the beginning of the year, I've been very adamant about the Jimmy G comeback story. They've really been pushing it about how first he was the backup, and then it didn't work out for him in San Francisco. Then he was unceremoniously cut. Then he came back as a backup, and then, he led the team to victory, and because Yance got hurt. And then they were saying how, it was the comeback story, and they showed Deebo Samuel crying from the NFC Championship. I think it'd be very, very fitting. Now, and Jimmy G could be back this week. They could do something where Purdy has a rough Week 18, a rough divisional first round. They just make it through. And, again, they said about 7-8 weeks. I think this would be about like the 7th week. He could return this week or the week after, and I think this would be the perfect week, to be honest. But in my opinion, he's going to return, and they're going to continue to force this Jimmy G, Niners in general, comeback tour. So we got Niners-Eagles. I think in that game, you get the public action probably. You might even get more in Philly. So it makes sense that the Niners win. And I have reassessed. Like I said, I originally had Niners-Ravens. I thought that was a nice draw. And then my backup was Bucs-Bills, because I thought it would be funny if Tom Brady played the Bills. He has Bill as his coach. I know it sounds goofy, but I just thought that was interesting. And it would fit with the 8-3. But I do like this. I do like this. I do like sticking with the Niners. I really think they're hard-pressed on the Niners' comeback story. And here you'd have two pretty nice stories with DeMar, and then on the other side, again, Brady's, son, if you will, who has done everything right as far as the NFL goes, the standards, and what the NFL asks of you. He's a system guy. So, yeah, I really do think that Niners win the Super Bowl. I've been thinking of this for a long time. Even with Purdy getting hurt, it threw me off a little bit. I'll tell you what, when they got McCaffrey was the first time I said, am I off? Because then it seemed too obvious. But since then, they've had other teams going off, winning by 40, 50 points. So I don't think the Niners are going to be pounded like some other teams. And the Bills, I think for two reasons. A, the obvious reason, everything that's going on now with DeMar, that would be a very interesting reason. And the second reason I've been liking the Bills is, again, I like them for two reasons. Twofold, outside of the DeMar reason. The one is, again, just say it's not the Niners and it is the Bucs. I don't know why, but the Bucs-Bills just makes a lot of sense to me. A lot of people are bringing that up too. But another reason is we had Burrow represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. We've had Mahomes. I think they want to give Allen his chance. This man, he's top two. He's not, he's better than Burrow. You had Manning and Brady. Well, now you got Mahomes and Allen. The other guys are just the next tier below them. Lamar, Burrow. Then you got your Tuas. But yeah, I do think the Niners win the Super Bowl. So if people want to make future bets on maybe exact matchups, you could. And I'm not saying this is guaranteed. Like I said, my original assessment was Ravens-Niners. I just don't see them pushing the Ravens to the Super Bowl now. Now, if the Ravens were to meet up with the Bills, it would be interesting because both of them have had similar things happen to them this year. So them meeting up in the playoffs would be interesting. But this is my I'm still sticking to it. Niners win the Super Bowl. I just do have them beating Buffalo instead of Baltimore. And on the NFC side, I'm certainly willing to reassess. I not some teams. Eagles, Vikings, Giants, red herring all day. Well, nobody even believes the Giants are. I'm willing to look at the Bucs. I am. Not as much the Cowboys. And I'm somewhat willing to look at the Packers because I have heard people's opinion on Rodgers and basically how the last time this happened, he won the Super Bowl. So maybe. Honestly, I don't think they match up with. That my opinion was the old quarterbacks were going to put over the young quarterbacks. Okay, before the season. So I thought it was going to be like Tom puts over Dak. We didn't really. We thought it was going to be Yance, but it wound up being Jimmy. Aaron puts over Jimmy, and Cousins puts over Jones. But instead, they've been looking like trash all season. So As far as putting them over, I'm not too sure. Brady really should put Dak over. It makes sense. But I think they're going to have at least one of the old guys move on, and it'll be Brady, not Rodgers. But maybe it's Rodgers, but I just don't see Niners getting bumped. Unless something really weird happened and they changed, which they've done before, but, I just really don't see the Bucs doing it. I don't see them doing it with Brady again. I know people, know they love Brady, but I think that they're forgetting, there's quarterbacks getting like $300 million if you add up everything, and it's very important to push them. And in order for that, if Brady's going to play against the Niners or against Dak or against any of these guys, I just feel like he has to put them over. So that's who I like for the playoffs. I thought it'd be fun to get this video back out because, A, it shows us different paths, but it also shows us the seeds, which matchups make more sense. So something very small, like noticing that Hill can match up against his old team in a rivalry that they've kind of been pressing since he left, really helps us on Week 18. Because say the Raiders lose, we have an idea of what's going to happen with the Bills game then. Because I'm almost confident it's going to be the Bills with the first seed and the Chiefs are going to be the ones who play the Dolphins. Just makes more sense to me. People would like to see the Bengals Ravens, and the reason I like Chargers Jags is because, and those seeds might already be locked. I'm not positive, but the reason I like those teams is because that's a perfect way to explain a Trevor Lawrence upset, so they can move to the next round and you can have these poor schmuck Jaguar fans thinking their team actually has a chance. So, if you've also noticed, the entire AFC, it's just the top draws as far as quarterbacks go. The only outlier would be Russell Wilson. But outside of that, literally in order, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. Lawrence might not be the fourth best, but it would probably be Lamar, Tua, Herbert, Lawrence, something like that. And it's basically the same for the NFC where, as far as legacies, you got Brady, you got Rodgers, you got Dak, Again, you got a couple outliers where, like, Kirk Cousins isn't the greatest. But they actually consider him top if you look at his accuracy. So it's all about draws. So I was overthinking the AFC for a while. For a while, I did have the Raiders as the 7th seed. I thought they were going to sneak in. Something about Vegas, like the actual books, were given very suspicious odds. But then I realized, okay, I overthought that. It seems like they're just putting the top, most marketable quarterbacks in, which obviously, looking back, makes much more sense. This is why I have Jacksonville beating Tennessee. I think Trevor Lawrence, I think any day of the week, unless the guy is a complete freak of nature, I think a quarterback is going to outdraw a running back. So Henry is a draw, but I don't think Tennessee is cutting it. I think people are tired of him. And, I get just as, to me, if I was a fan thinking it's real, I would be just as excited watching Etienne because he runs like a freight train for the Jags. So, yeah, having the younger team, having Lawrence, I think the Jags get that upset. But, yeah, this is who I have for the Super Bowl. I know some people have already locked in future bets, which is cool. I'll be going into NBA as well because I put out my NBA prediction picks a long time ago. And, some are preseason picks, so again, they're all white, but I'll go over them all, or I'll re-upload them if I can find the videos. But again, we had a good day, closed 8 units. I always look for the number 7 because, again, if you close 7 sequences, that negates a 3-leg loss. But I look at the long term. As you can see, we're playing dozens of plays a day. So as biggest goal is to hold it to where we don't have a ton of leg threes. So again, we do have 2 going into tomorrow from the Toledo under that missed and from the Texas Tech that missed. But that's okay because, again, my goal is just to split them at this point. It's an inevitability that we are going to lose a 3-leg sequence. It's not just like it can't happen. It has to happen. But the goal is to pick good metrics so it doesn't happen 1 and 7. And very consistently for us, it's been happening about 1 and 25, which is amazing, obviously. It just means over time we're going to profit tremendously. To put in perspective, a 4-leg loss is 15 units, which is terrible. You don't want to lose 15 units on one sequence. But the fact, again, that we could take a 4-leg loss and be at 57 plus just shows the, in my opinion, durability of the system. So we'll continue to keep posting in live time. It is pretty nuts. We're over hundreds and hundreds of plays just in the last week. And if you've been following since the beginning, you know we're up about 350 units. That's why Vegas is going to, or whoever it is, the bulk YouTube, whoever, the people that control these Oppo channels, they're going to keep yanking us, but we're going to keep getting out the truth. And especially around playoff season where it's really obvious. I can say I have a game that I like a lot as a leg 3 tomorrow. It's a college metric game. It's the Tulane, I think it is, Tulane-Tulsa game. And essentially it's just another one with a great spread metric. So I'm going to have all the college picks up. There's not a ton. There's a bunch for the 5th. So there's going to be a bunch on the 5th. So I'll play some tomorrow. And then we'll go into, the different sports and stuff. But I do really like the Tulsa game tomorrow. And then there's a bunch the next day. And then we got NBA going on as well, so we'll be hitting that. Nothing incredibly early, so I want to, look into the games, but wait for the lines before I just rush a bunch of picks. But we'll note the ones on ESPN, Bucks Raptors. I believe that's a rematch from the playoffs. And we got Heat Lakers. So 2 interesting ones. Definitely narrative games. Blazers, Wolves, Nets, Bulls. A lot of these games are going to be, in my opinion, more narrative type games, so it'll be fun. Knicks getting 10 is always interesting. So a lot of these lines already look pretty interesting. So we'll be looking into that. And we're not going to quit telling the truth about DeMar, who, by the way, now there's all these outlets. It's happened for a day. I'm the only person that I even know talking about it. But you have all these Washington Post and the others saying basically the event that happened to DeMar is sparking a bunch of terrorist-like misinformation, which, again, I find it comical that people simply questioning what might have happened is now considered terrorist-level disinformation, but that's the world we're living in. But like I said, we always want positive vibes, and we're going to keep them going. And at the same time, it's sad, but this year alone, more than 1,000 mostly high school athletes have dropped dead. And this comes from a lot of different doctors that have been on both sides of the mainstream media outlets that have been respected and renowned, from all the people that say who to trust. And even these doctors are coming out saying, essentially, there's been more deaths in this single year. Not the single year, I'm sorry. That's a misquote. It was from, I think, since 2000. There's been more deaths since 2000. It's right here. So here's one of the doctors, Simone Gold. She's been on CNN, Fox, MSN. She's been on all of them. So it's not like she's some fringe Twitter doctor. And yeah, so 11, and she has the numbers since January 21. And again, she doesn't just get like false information. She's actually one of the top. She was one of the ones that they were parading around with Fauci, and again, she was on both news outlets, so she's considered respected by both sides. You can see the exact same amount of people died in a 2-year period than a 38-year period, and people are just completely disregarding the very proven possibility. If you go to the VAERS website, it's like, I forget the exact acronym, but I believe it's like vaccine something it's something about like side effects. Let me look up the exact word. This is the site that the actual government uses and the actual CDC uses, the Adverse Event Reporting System. So this is from the actual .gov, as you can see. Even this site is showing the ridiculous amount of myocarditis episodes for specifically younger people that has not happened before. So people can ignore it all they want, but we're going to keep talking about it. If they're going to force these players to take these things and then not talk about them when it doesn't go their way after they crucified Kyrie. We're going to keep exposing that because, what they did to Kyrie, in my opinion, yes, I don't know, all the crap he said after the vaccine, but when he went into other stuff, he got, crucified mostly for the vaccine. They didn't care about the other stuff he said. They just used that as a reason to loop him in as a crazy guy. And now, when nothing he says has any merit. But you might see why he was originally fighting it, right? And I also find it interesting Aaron, who fought it all year, suddenly got a surge. So this is all kind of happening at once. I think it's all connected. And I only bring it up now because, A, I'm not going to stop covering tomorrow until we know exactly the truth. But secondly, a lot of people are frustrated because they see now that it's connected, like music and the sports and stocks even and the news and all of it. But it annoys them, as it annoys me, that we can't find this connection. And we're going to do our best. We've been doing a good job, at least doing what we can, pounding Vegas, exposing some narratives. But of course, at the end of the day, the goal is to figure out the truth. At least that's what I would hope most people's goal is. And we're figuring out the truth. But as I said, Varys is a great one because people can't cry that it's like a politically motivated source. If anything, the numbers are going to be underinflated because they're coming directly from the people supplying these vaccines and such. But I just wanted to go into it because I think it's relevant. I think the fact that nobody's brought up that this may have been from that to regarding DeMar, and they already have these, quote, experts coming around saying why he couldn't have had an enlarged heart. It just seems like they might be trying to get ahead of a narrative. So, again, that Dr. Simone, she's not some fringe doctor. She's been on, they've had her on all the main networks. She's been on Twitter, and she's basically maintained this stance. Video after video of these high school athletes, and it's not from heat strokes. It used to be the heat strokes because, out west it does get you. But now that it's like the middle of the winter and it's happening, so people are questioning it. I think these people out there saying that the thing was fake are just, they painted themselves into a corner because they can't look at things from an open-minded perspective. So these channels are controlled oppositional puppets. So they absolutely can't even have an open mind and think that it might be the vaccine. So whether people see it politically or not politically, or they agree or disagree, that's the reason we're going to talk about the truth here. And these other goons are going to say that it's a fake injury or a fake whatever they're saying, from what I'm hearing, because it goes against their master's goal. Their masters tell them to say something, and they either do it or they don't. And you can see these bozos that team up, and in this case, they're saying that it's fake. Why? Because they can't say it might be from the jab, because they are, at the end of the day, they don't have free thought. They're completely told what to say and what to do. That's why I appreciate, as I said last time, Sean Sweeney covered it, and it's good. Some people are covering it, but all the puppets out there, the rigged NFL people that are suddenly acting like a vaccine can't hurt people. So this $1 billion league can do all of these things, they believe, but they also at the same time believe that Bill Gates cares about them. So I think it's rich and very naive and revealing of these goofballs that trust Bill Gates but not the NFL. So if you're going to take a stance, I feel like you should be consistent. That's why we were yanked, by the way. We stay consistent with our stances. We don't just say, okay, now it doesn't fit our argument, we're going to say this man faked a death, even though it looked nothing like the other fake injuries. So yeah, I like to correct things and correct people. I've been a wrestling fan my whole life, and these people saying it's rigged, it's only because they've painted themselves into a corner because they're exploits who I don't even think they believe the NFL's rigged, or they can explain why. But they obviously they just want views, they just want their channel to grow. And now, since they can't come out and tell the truth about DeMar, they're just going to say, oh yeah, it was rigged too. And again, I don't know exactly what was said, but I know a lot of people are pretty disgusted and telling me, how are these other people even entertaining the fact that, it's fine to entertaining things because you want to be open-minded about things. But again, looking for a second, anybody that believes it was fake, in my opinion, is just trying to not tell the truth because it goes against, again, what their masters are telling them to say. There's a reason the news and these channels, they swear, they exploit everything, they expose everything, just completely slip their mind that this might have came from a 50-50 vaccine that people are literally telling me that they took, and they're having remorse. So again, this should never be political, but these other channels, you can really see their politics when they go quiet on news like that. So I didn't want to spend too much time on a tangent. I just wanted to explain it because this is a big issue. It's like Kobe. People got so mad with Kobe, but nobody did anything about it. And I'm sure some people use gematria to explain that's why he died. Well, great. That's going to help us a lot, isn't it? I literally made a channel. When I made my channel, I had my Steph video, but my first series, it wasn't picks, it wasn't Vegas. I do that to help people now. It was Kobe Bryant, and I was sick to my stomach because of the way they treated his death. And I was annoyed because I didn't find, I searched and couldn't find one person talking about it. And then I realized, okay, I guess, even these people that swear it's screwed up and there's sacrifices, they don't care. They care enough to tell you he wore the number 24 and death is 24, and it just annoys me. So if you think I'm bashing other people, I'm not. It's just frustrating to see so many of these channels falling right in line with the establishment now all of a sudden. That's why, like I said, I always like to keep it positive over here, and we're going to keep doing that. We're going to keep winning. We'll beat Vegas. But as I said, life always comes first, and just the way I've seen the treatment of DeMar in general, and the way people have completely put aside what they know to be the truth because it doesn't fit a narrative, and they're using this guy as in my opinion, as just a reason so they can explain away a political agenda, whether you believe in them or not, whether you're on the side of the vaccines or not. For these people to be completely ignoring it and using the NBA being rigged as an excuse it's as sick as the media that's mad that they're not getting immediate information because they're greedy on what their scoop. So these channels, they're just as sick as them. Again, that there's a reason that they always stand me, and there's a reason they're obsessed with me. They're puppets, and we just need to pity them. Thank the other small channels like ours, like Sean, who's been doing this for a long time. And like I said, we're going to keep telling the truth. But I wanted to go into my system. And if you're still with me, I appreciate you listening to my tangent. But I just wanted to go into my system, and I figured it'd be a good time to just go over my opinion on what I think they're doing with DeMar. But yeah, I expect us to continue. We will probably be at about 100 units profit, I would say, probably by Monday, if things continue the way they're going. So Sunday, Monday, I would think. And I think that's just phenomenal. Most people can't make that in a year. And our channel just quickly made it. And we're going to keep, I'm telling you, we're going to keep facing fire between telling the truth about the news, between clobbering Vegas, making these other channels look like bozos, tripping over each other, trying to take us down. I can see it all. Our Discord being raided. People, everyone, they're going to try whatever they can do. But my solemn promise to all of you guys is I'm not going to change. If you can't tell by now, I don't beat around the bush. I'm not going to not say something out of fear. I'm not going to edit out my videos or do anything. Every single one of my videos, it goes straight out. So they might not be perfect. I might say something that a few people don't agree with, or I might ramble for a minute. But I think that's better than sitting at a computer, staring at a screen and reading notes like these other goons. They just can't think for themselves. They need hours to put together a 2-minute video, because they just literally can't even think on the spot. So I don't know why it's like I'm bashing these people, but the truth is these channels have attacked me for months. They know who they are, and all they want is exposure, which they're not going to get. And I'm just explaining now in live time, because last time I didn't expect it to happen the way it did. We just grew parabolically, and then we just started seeing hyenas left, right. It was rats, snakes everywhere. So this time I'm just bringing it up in live time because I'm putting these other channels on notice. It backfired on you last time. We came back stronger than ever, and the analytics are showing that. And it's going to backfire on you guys again if you keep trying your fake moves, your fake friendships, coming over here commenting, whatever you guys want to do on your fake channels, go ahead. But every single time you try and mess with our movement, specifically our channel, it's going to keep backfiring on you, and your audience is going to come over to the truth and point you out for the shills that you are. So I know this video was kind of all over the place, but most of my videos are because there's a lot of things to talk about. So I like to get everybody their picks because that's the positive part and that's the fun part, beating Vegas. But I also like to make people aware of these other channels that just because they're talking about something, in my opinion, 90% of them, these people that I have personally come across as far as the way they've behaved, they do not give a care at all about DeMar. They would rather just say it's fake because it's easier to do that, and they don't want to take the stance that is the morally correct one. They would rather be... There's a difference between being correct and being right. And I'll just let you guys think about that because to me, that's the biggest distinction you can do. It's fine to be correct, but you should always want to be morally right. You should want to be morally consistent with your beliefs, and you should talk about things that are very messed up, like the way the media has portrayed Damar Hamlin. So tomorrow I expect a really good day. Again, Tulsa's going to be a leg 3, so we haven't played a leg 3 in a couple days. So leg 3s are always fun. As I said, I don't play them just willy-nilly. I always wait for a really good play, and I do think the Tulsa-Tulane game tomorrow is a great one, with Tulsa being something like 1-12 against the spread. So that's the one we're going to go with. Here it is. They're getting 13.5, and 1-12 at around 9%. I just don't see that holding. Not that it's impossible, but again, I will stick with the 90-something percent. That's probably not 90. It's probably like 80-something percent leg 3 college metric hitting rate that we're at. For leg 3s, where I chose a college game with a good metric, we're between 70 and 85%. I haven't counted the last couple days, but I cross-analyze all of these numbers, and I don't have like supercomputer, so a lot of it I do in my head, so it takes me a lot of time. That's why I'm up all the time. That's why I'm up at these hours. But my point is, we do really good when I plug in a leg 3 for college, because I usually save really good metrics. So I have faith Tulsa comes through for us and covers. That's not until a little later tomorrow, so there's no absolute rush on that one. And like I said, we had a good day. The news was suspicious, but nothing new there. And I really appreciate everyone. There's been a lot of people that have given me their honest opinion. Many agree, some don't, and that's fine. It's a big story. It's a big issue, and in general, it's good people are, at least on my channel, can talk about it in a positive note and have different opinions, just like we do on anything else, and not angry where it's an echo chamber. You have this opinion or leave because my feelings can't stand you, disagreeing with me. So if you ever, even if you completely disagree with me, tell me like you see it. I always appreciate that. Everyone says like, subscribe, and view. My philosophy has always been, if you don't like this, dislike, leave a comment telling me why I suck, and that's it, because that's the only way the channels get better, is when people leave criticism and feedback in general. So I like I said, I know we're used to always just going into plays, and it's going to be like that again soon, because these kind of things don't happen that often. But since it did, I'm not just going to talk about it once and pretend it didn't happen. It's something we still need to keep positive vibes for him, and look at it from both sides. If you think it's fake, okay, I'm not going to get offended. I'll just say I think these channels have ulterior motives for looping this in with other things, when it was in my opinion, a clear distinction. But yeah, so not to be redundant, but 72 units, very good. And once we hit 100, I'll be very happy because I think people would like to see that nice round, 00. And we got there very quick before. We're almost at 400 units in general since September 24th. And we're going to do it again. The only thing I think is this time we're going to get yanked down quicker because, again, at the rate, I said I had a chip on my shoulder when I returned. I wasn't kidding. There's a reason we've been playing every game. It's not impossible. It's not even hard to play every game almost on a slate, especially if you have bankroll. I did this with 180 I started with. I know a lot of you guys have 4 or 5 figures you're playing with. So you can play every game like quite easily, and I'm sure you're seeing, just like everybody else in the Discord and on YouTube, just how easy it is if you actually implement, again, metrics, narratives, and discipline. Those are the three biggest, and discipline's the most important, but those 3 things is what's going to make people succeed. There's people that will tell me, I tailed you the whole way, but I got greedy and I did a leg 3 on Toledo. I picked Hawaii women's basketball because I had a feeling, and they lose 15 units or 7 units. That's why it's important to wait for good picks. Doesn't mean we're going to win every leg 3. But I wanted to go over, again, the system. I figured I'd go into a lot this video. But the system was the biggest thing I wanted to cover because it just shows how it comes down to numbers. And over the long term, we have continuously just pounded Vegas, and it's not an accident. There's a reason I made the playlist. There's a reason I'm so methodical about it. It's so you can see everything in exact live time. Outside of filming my life, like with like a 24-hour camera, there's no way. Some guy actually complained yesterday that I didn't get him a live pick on YouTube quick enough, so he lost. And, if you want to complain about that, you can. But yeah, I'm not able to, if people aren't familiar, I'm not able to make a video, get it out in time to say make a pick in the next 5 minutes. But I do put all of that on my Discord where, again, they don't always work out. We had Texas Tech as a leg 2 that I put on my Discord, and then we lost it. So, to the guy complaining over 1 pick I didn't get him, and he wasn't able to lock it in time, I'm sorry. But again, at some point, I appreciate the people that will say, hey, I figured this is who you would have gone with, so I went with them. Or I figured you would have leg 2'd this, so I leg 2'd it. Because they're actually following the system, and they're not just swinging by saying picks. And if you've been asking about the Discord, I'll just let you know right now. There's a reason there's a select few that I'll choose out of the dozen that ask every video. The people that are just going to swing by and say picks, you're not getting in the Discord, okay? I don't mind helping people, but again, I'm not going to let people come into the Discord, take picks, and then sell them to other channels. And, it's revealing as to the channels, but that's why, for so many people asking about the Discord, that's why I've handled it the way I have. When I have stalking channels raiding my Discord, and then people are randomly showing up, and they haven't said a word in the Discord for 3 weeks, but they're kicked for a day, and they're acting distraught on YouTube simply because these other channels are desperate to see what information we have, then yeah, you're not getting in the Discord. So I just like to be honest with people. As you guys know, I'm not one to mince words. And yeah, I can't get updates to somebody 5 minutes before a game. I don't think most channels even go out of their way to make a video to do the updates if they just kind of throw out their picks and that's it. I'll do a video, make up to 20 minutes before a game if I think that there's going to be some kind of change. But yeah, for the people that follow the system, you understand boxing, heat, there's so many people, Marco, that are always on here just letting either providing insight, grinning in their face. There's so many people, Creaky Joints. To the people that understand the logic and they use it on their own and they are contributing insightful, I always appreciate you guys. It's about 99%. It's only about 1% of people that I'm talking about that drive by for picks or are trying to do things for ulterior motives. But like I said, I had some time, so I figured I would cover a lot of things that have been asked in this video, which is my system, what's been going on with the Discord, a lot of these other channels, these controlled oppositional puppets, going with, the news, how it ties in with what's going on with DeMar, the playoffs. Again, these are all things that got deleted in the past. So instead of making 10 different videos, I figured why not just get out my system and go into the playoffs and a bunch of things that I had covered that got ripped down. So I know it's been long, and if you guys are with me this far, I appreciate it. As I said, I just throw these out, and most importantly, I like to do a recap, but I always like to go into what I think is suspicious, and these other channels are more than suspicious at this point. They've all but revealed themselves, which is great, watching them reveal themselves. All we're going to do is keep plugging away, and we're going to, like I said, be at 100 units probably by Monday. So I'll have all the college picks up tomorrow. You can see we have almost a full NBA schedule. We'll be playing a bunch of NBA games, and then we got Thursday, Saturday. So we got some busy grinding days going forward. So that's why I thought I'd put this video out now because I'm probably not going to have any time to go into the playoff picture or to go into my system in detail in quite a while, just because it takes a long time to go through all these games and get them out and make sure I do that in time. So I just figured, especially with the playoffs coming up, I figured, let's just do a long video, go over the system, go over everything. And that way, anyone that's new, you can listen. Anyone that's heard this before, you can leave, no problem. You don't, obviously, you know how the system works. But every time I do a video on it, like a 5-10 minute video explaining the system and plays I made, I still get a bunch of questions. So I really wanted to go into as much detail as possible about the system and about the Discord. The reason I shut it down, it's not even, like I said, it's just temporarily locked, so random people can't just join. If you ask me and you're somebody I remember and somebody that I actually know follows the channel, then yes, you will get an invite, no problem. If I haven't heard from you in 4 months, you came in the Discord, never said hi to anybody, and you're wondering why you're not in the Discord, well, that's why. So, I just like to be honest. You can let me know if you feel like you were unjustly kicked from the Discord or if you feel it was an accident. But, over the last 3-4 days, I've been making sure to keep the Discord as positive and as safe as possible for everybody, and it's a lot better than it was. Nothing against anyone that was in the Discord that isn't now. It was just so many, again, with Discord, you get so many dishonest people that I found personally inviting people myself versus just letting people come in is definitely the way to go. So, if you're genuine about it, let me know why you want to be in my Discord. Let me know why you were in there to begin with, maybe why you weren't active. Whatever the case may be, why I'm, for a lot of people, why I never hear about you until I kick you from the Discord. So, these people are mostly from controlled op channels. I'm not talking to everyone that's been showing support. I'm just talking to the people that think they're slick from these controlled channels. So, the Discord and the system have been brought up so much, I just felt like I would address them both in the same video. And I thought it'd be fun to go into my NFL predictions. So take care, everybody. The next video, like I said, I'll probably just cover the NBA tomorrow. But I always like to do some kind of recap because, again, I'm autistic and I got OCD by nature. So I like everything very methodical. So every single night, you can see exactly what we picked that day. And that night, I'm going to go over every one we won, every one we lost, every unit we lost, every unit we won, and exactly how many sequences we have going forward. And I do that because, again, they yanked my entire whole last channel. So if I don't do it in live time, nobody else does this. They just say it after the fact, and it's easy to believe them. I do it in live time, so you don't have to believe me. You watch the videos and you see for yourself how easy it is. So we're going to keep doing it. As I said last time, I think we get yanked a lot quicker than the last channel, just because of how quickly we are pissing off these controlled ops. And who knows, it might even go deeper than that. We might be pissing off people that go way above them because, again, for them to all be just completely able to harass and do whatever they want with their accounts get nothing against them, but for us to get Thanos snapped, again, always a badge of confidence, a badge of dignity, and a badge of respect. It means we're doing something right and we're standing to our principles. So take care, everybody. I love you guys. Any question you got, put it in the comments. Again, the Discord ones, I'll entertain them if they are coherent questions. If it's just, I was in your Discord, I want to get back in, you're going to have to explain why. So take care, everybody. I appreciate you listening to the spiel. I just wanted to explain why I set up the movement the way I have. I am nothing like these other guys. They can all do their thing together. They can call it the movement and act like they're helping people. They're not, okay? So again, ever since they had me ripped down and did everything they could just to stand me, it's been my goal to essentially just make these guys all irrelevant and people understand just how fake, phony, and fugazi they all are. All they do is try and distract people from what's really going on, like the fact that we can make money on a daily basis and the fact that they don't have control of the complete narrative, which pisses them off as much as it pisses off the actual media. So I do appreciate everybody, the love, again, the support. I can't tell you from an analytic standpoint, from a standpoint of people that have decided to search out the channel and say, thank God you're still here. You know, we thought we were stuck with these other bozos. I'm not making fun. That was literally, I was told that by many, many people that when my channel got Thanos snapped, they didn't really know what other channels to go to because they're all kind of stale and repetitive. Again, we got Sean Sweeney. He actually talks about important things, and I always appreciate him. But the other guys, you know, I think people are starting to see through them too, which is again just as great. When they rip me down, my goal, yes, it's always been so we can exploit Vegas, but exploiting these other channels without giving them exposure has also been a big goal. And watching, just by proving what we do over here, that's exactly what we've been doing. So again, I'm always humbled and very appreciative of the ridiculous organic support. If I ever come off rude, it's just because I don't mince words. So I just say things as they pop into my head, so never mean to offend anybody. But regarding the Discord, regarding the system, regarding a lot of people that don't have the most pure motives, I do like to just explain how I genuinely feel. And, you know, if you rock with some of the channels that are lying and stuff, it's cool. I get some of them, you know, can be a little entertaining or they could be eye-opening to some things. I'm just giving you my honest opinion on why these channels are being such cowards about ever speaking the truth or touching on certain areas. And then the tactics they take to go after people that are actually helping the movement free of charge. So yeah, I had some time. I'm a late night person, and I figured, well, I've gotten such an influx of questions about the Discord and the system. Maybe this will help just a little bit. And I understand a lot of people that are new. You can't help it. My old channel got wiped, so you have no videos on my system. So I figured it was only fair to make one on my system, to make one going over the Discord. And the NFL playoff video was I did a bunch on that, so I figured let's get that back out there before the playoffs start. So take care, everybody. Happy earnings. And make sure to lock in Tulsa covers Tulane. That's going to be leg 3. Take care. Positive vibes.